Yo, ebusia for do baby as mo bi akwa basonko de ba enkasa TV so. That's say dey di kan hwe enkasa TV abe subscribe be like no ba share. Me ma we so be mi odoma no so see bi tuma be bi ahwe kama. Enkasa akasebo ana eduro no ebusia for me de ebrem no. Na me am de kasebo ebrem yo hene ba kwa msafo kantanka. Be ma 10 gram kase ba kwa makaja so ebusia for frame din bia ba cheso. I'm not to see an enemy so I do akunya airtrains something casabo and some carefree and casafidi muhanum. And the babro of one ounce when you be a tea kama. Casabo and a do on mamma dear day, Abramono. That's as I say, was also here video now recommended, and I will share video to another channels. So no video in Yashe, kama. The Dobby Biase, some will be aquabas from Kum, and about a Enkasa TV so. Yamushi Franco Casabo and Mania call a year. Abranti bi owaganda mem hanoma wadi ntintima yi pa busuafo ewura esedu enketia omampeni na da John Dramani Mahama ene ne nkrofo ebi mo okuchetu abrakwa Haruna Idrusu ene owura mutaka busuafo UK ena US layafo ababonten de expose bi emu adin bi ababeto nkrofo ya mebo omudin so na busuafo investigation na hwehwemu no bibia ekere ese Insema lawyer for your free abrochi mem UK ni US yi no kra ebusia for jibre eti audio bisa san we dey mo dey yi pa asopa encha asenti yekoba godin cheche mu no yede bebrem.
Some advantages, and those advantages can be tapped into when your leadership is cooperating with the speaker. So we cannot have a situation where MPP leadership is cooperating with the speaker and our NDC leadership have challenges cooperating with the speaker.
For the SMP or now some so it is now show on my YouTube channel.
Be the first to know in SMPT.
Let's begin quickly. So we have two issues: MPP polling station executives issues. But let's start right now with Johnson Asedo Nkatia. Very quickly, in 15 minutes we'll be done. Kennedy Japan is here. He's our big story for 2 hours. We're dealing with Asedo Nkatia. 15 minutes we'll be done. Now, Johnson Asedo Nkatia, we know the confusion that erupted when he sent a letter to the Speaker of Parliament indicating that changes were to be made in the NDC leadership. Well, a lot of concern expressed from party members all over the place. Now, he is speaking from London, where he accompanied President Mahama to deliver a speech at Chatham House. Johnson Asedo Nkatia expressed his views about the matter during question and answers with his party people. First of all, he talked about consultation. Let's see that video, the video on consultation. Here's Asedo Nkatia speaking.
And so as a leader, I take full responsibility for the decision. And I don't want anybody to blame anybody at all for that decision. I take full responsibility for the decision, and I believe that I've done all the necessary consultation before taking that decision. And the only group we did not consult was the caucus, the parliamentary group. And it is for good reason. If the exercise was going to be done after an election, then there is nobody in charge. You are now going to look for an identified talent for the new leadership. But if you are going to take a decision which will result in the removal of leadership, how are you going to call them and say, come and help me to remove you? Nobody does that. No president consults with his cabinet about the decision to change members of the cabinet. And so it wasn't practical for you to call the leadership. Are you going to meet the caucus without the leadership you are going to change, or you are going to meet them with the leadership? And who controls that meeting? So in such matters, you take the decision and inform them and justify that decision. And that is what precisely we have done.
Okay, so that's Johnson Asiedu Nkatia comparing himself to the elected president of Ghana who is dealing with his cabinet minister. Is that not so? All right. Now, he said that the people that he needs to do the changes on, he cannot consult them. Last week, Kwesi Pratt had a completely different view. Hear him.
You're appointing leaders for a group of people.
Yeah.
You are not appointing shepherds for sheep.
Yeah.
If you are appointing shepherds to go and look after sheep, you may not have to consult the sheep.
True.
You are appointing leaders for your parliamentarians. I don't think that it is necessary to consult them. My goodness, what is this?
So you heard the answer for Johnson Asiedu Nkatia. Kwesi Pratt says that how do you elect people? The MPs, they are not, excuse me to say, they are not sheep that you are electing a shepherd. They are elected members of parliament. But Johnson Asiedu Nkatia feels that he shouldn't consult them because about them himself. And then he said that the president, can you put the president thing on, please? And then he said that the president's choice, when the president wants to do a cabinet reshuffle, he doesn't consult the ministers. So this is the point we've been making all the time. Johnson Asiedu Nkatia has completely misunderstood his role as a general, as a chairman of the party. You know why? Because he's radical and he doesn't consult. So he's misunderstood his role. He says that he wants to make changes in parliament. He doesn't need to consult them because the changes is about them. So he doesn't need to consult them. And then he likens it to the president of Ghana, any president of Ghana, who selected his ministers, and that when he wants to change ministers, he doesn't tell them. Did Johnson Asiedu Nkatia, as chairman of the party, select them parliamentarians? Is he the one who made them parliamentarians so that when he has a leadership choice, he doesn't have to tell them? Now, we put this here so that you can understand. This is the graphics, the graphical expression of Article 78 in the 1992 Constitution. Those of you who are friends with Asiedu Nkatia, go and tell him that Article 78 explains the matter better, and that his understanding of the relationship between a party chairman and the members of parliament and their leadership, that he is comparing it to, he's not actually comparing, he's putting it side by side with the relationship between a president and the ministers that he selects, so that when the president wants to change the ministers, he need not tell them. So this is a graphical representation of President Akufo-Addo and his ministers. So you know that deliberately we made President Akufo-Addo big and his ministers smaller, because the mandate of the ministers, the 100% of the ministers' mandate, is Akufo-Addo's mandate. That's what it is. So next president, Atta Mills, is here. These are his ministers. The mandate of Atta Mills is what he's sharing with his ministers. He, Atta Mills, is offering his ministers that. And then we put another president here. J. Kufuor is there. This is Article 78. This is the president of Ghana. These are his ministers. He appoints them. They owe the appointment to him. But here's Asiedu Nkatia, because of his ego and because he's radical and he thinks everything he's doing is correct, he has completely misread it, and he sits down comfortably, actually laughing and saying that, well, I mean, if the president wants to change